Hello, this is Neo, just an average CSGO player, and you're watching Thorin's YouTube channel.
Right, I'm here for another episode of Reflections, and my guest for this one is going to be MUTiRiS, who is a Portuguese veteran of Counter-Strike. Actually, just the very, very simple way to start off, I wanted to know, actually, is there a reason why, at one point in your career, if I go back to 1.6, you used to just write your name like Mott, and then now you write exactly. MUTiRiS? Is there a reason, was it originally just Mott? Was it originally MUTiRiS? Did you change it at some point?
Yeah, it was like I was tired of Mutt already, so I don't know, it was a silly thing. It was just a singer in Portugal that he was called MUTiRiS, and I just put the MUTiRiS in a funny way, and after that, I don't know, it kind of gave me luck, and I just said, okay, it's going to be MUTiRiS. But yeah, most of the guys, they just call me Mut in Portugal.
By the way, at what point in your career, I actually don't know this, I was trying to look it up, it's hard to find some of this information. At what point did you become an in-game leader, by the way? I'm assuming in the early days you were just a player, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, at Kick, in some point, but it was already CSGO. I was the IGL, but it's like the IGL, you know, the face it IGL. Like, right. we go there.
Sure.
It was not... I was not very good. But it came to a point in my career when we went to Giants, we did the Portuguese lineup, and we just decided that no one was an IGL, and I needed to be the one. So it was like, okay, I'm like 25, 26 years old. I already have experience, and I think I was the one with more capabilities to be.
Okay, right. One obvious area to start with, I feel like this is a great way to open it up, is obviously you were someone who was playing at the end of CS 1.6. If people think of your age, that was about the time when you were like in your late teens, early 20s. And at the time, there was, people don't know, we didn't have this wide international scene that we have now for Counter-Strike, where you have like international rosters. And like I always tell people, the best example is, if this was CS 1.6, I mean, this did happen to this guy, someone like Nico would never be famous, because Bosnia wouldn't have like a top team, you know, he wouldn't get to go beyond mouz or FaZe or some G2, all these giant. So back then, the only people who got famous from smaller countries were just the star players. So like I always tell people, actually in 1.6, we all did know who Oscar was. No one watched him play because he was in small tournaments, but we all knew there's a guy in Czech Republic who's really, obviously the one from Portugal was Fox, right? It was your teammate. That was like the one person I think everyone knew. In fact, even back then, the fans were pretty crazy. They used to spam his name everywhere. You were a teammate of his. Like, was he actually like famous beyond Portuguese players back then?
Yeah, I mean, in Portugal, I think that it only, in an international level, you only had Fox. So Fox was like he was carrying our flag. But yeah, I mean, it was always hard for the small countries to be very good, because, I don't know, with time, what happened to me is that all my teammates, they were not winning any money on CS, and they came to a time in their life that they were living with their girlfriends and they were not winning any money, so they just left CS. And I think that's the main reason why Portugal never had a good team, because I played so many years without winning a single hero that it was crazy. But yeah, I'm glad I did it, because right now I'm doing what I love. I followed my dream, and yeah, I mean, I'm pretty happy with what I achieved until now.
Does that mean, in your case, like, was it hard for you to go through all those years? Because it wasn't. I mean, it would have been quite well into CSGO before you make any decent money. Like, what did people tell you? You're crazy, or you should just quit, or get a job, or something? What was the vibe like back then?
I mean, the big problem was with my parents, I would say. But I get to a point that my mother just say, "Son, you're gonna have food in the table, but if you want to buy something or you want something, it needs to be with your money." So the only money that I was getting was like winning a prize money of 200 euros or something. Or if I want to go out with my friends, I need it need to be that money. So that was the craziest part. But I don't know, when you are in your 20s, you don't think too much about life. in that aspect. You just want to play. But when you reach 25 or 30s, it's almost impossible to follow your life without money. So yeah, I mean, it was strange at the beginning, and but later it paid off because I went off to Spain, for example, and they already were paying better. So it kind of helped me to basically to be here.
Okay. Another thing people might not know as well is since you played with Fox and 1.6, I often tell people it's mainly just the fans that were going crazy in CSGO. In CSGO, he was an older player. Like that was towards the end of his career. He was much better player in 1.6, right? He was actually like a star player in 1.6, right?
I mean, 1.6, I think it was his prime for sure. And he was the one saying it because 1.6, when you played with him, he was just different. Because back then he was just playing for all day. He was just sleeping and playing.
Okay.
And on CS:GO, I think he had the skill and everything, but he was not. I mean, at the beginning, maybe he was just different, and the skill was still there. But maybe later, I don't know if it was about motivation or something, but it was just different. But of course, 1.6, when I played with him, and for example, in Portugal, when you started playing, people were already saying Fox is the best, Fox is this.
Sure.
You had frag movies of Fox playing against Potty, all those players when they came to Portugal, and he was destroying them. So I think he was always the guy that people were looking at him. And for me, at that time, it was a pleasure. I mean, when you start playing, you want to play with the best, and Fox was that guy for sure in Portugal.
Along the similar lines, the main team everyone can remember, obviously it was his team, was Kick, the one that you played for back then.
Yeah.
When you were a young player, is it a big deal to get into Kick?
Yeah, I mean, for example, I needed to go to 4 finals in Portugal with different rosters to get in Kick.
Right.
So it was like, I think that right now, if you do a good tournament, maybe you already go to the best teams. And back then, I don't know, you had already a lot of players. But yeah, I think that if you showed your potential, you had the opportunity. But yeah, when I get there, it was completely different because everyone was amateur, and when you went to Kick, you needed to practice all day. You already had the strats. I don't know. You have a lot of competition inside the team. We were kind of crazy, so it was all different. But I think that those times kind of built me in a way that it made me the man that I am today, and I'm very glad that I played there.
In these early days, because of some of the tournaments that you got to go to, like there was obviously Kinguin in Spain was the famous one that a lot of players in your region got to play people, but also you could go to ESWC in competitions like this where they're very international. I looked up some of the teams you were facing, and even though obviously the results aren't that great at the end of the tournament, you played all the best players. You played against like the Fnatic players and NAVI and all these guys, right? When people look back nostalgically, were those players actually as insane? But at the time, did they seem like, they were also the people on all the frag movies. Were they actually like a higher level? Were you close to them when you played? What do you think?
No, I don't think we were close. I think when we faced, for example, I remember facing MTW in one SWC. I think that the best tournaments that we had, it was at Kinguin. I think we won against mouz, against some good teams. But when we went to SWC, it was always tough. Against those teams, I remember facing NAVI, and we were not even close, I would say. And the only player that maybe was close to that level, I think it was Fox in terms of skill. But as a team, I think that the problem of Portugal, and I realize now because I have that experience, I think that we never focused so much in the important things. So we were just running and shooting,
right?
And people were already in another level in terms of tactics and how to understand the game. And that's what I realize right now. If you have a good structure or if you have decent things, you can fight with most of the teams. Of course, if you if I look at now, you can face maybe top 5, top 10 teams, but is it possible to face the other teams? So, yeah, I think we were not so good at that time.
As you say, you did get to beat the mousesports team. I will say there's a slight asterisk, which is right. This is right after, unfortunately, that player 6 died, and they just took like a stand into this tournament. So it wasn't maybe like the original team. But if someone goes and looks, like the other 4 names are really impressive. It is like, although this actually when 6 was still there, it's just before he died. Sorry, but this is where they had to have a stand in. I think it was for. I'm trying to think which player maybe skipped it. There was some player couldn't make the land though, right, or something.
Yeah. I remember they were not with their original lineup. But yeah, they had an old school player.
Yeah,
and he was not playing.
I think it was just a friend of theirs or something. Still, it must be a big deal to beat these names. Like these are people who've won massive tournaments and be at the top of the world. Was it a big deal to get an upset?
Yeah, I mean, I remember there is a video on the internet that when we won, we did like we celebrate in a way
like you won the tournament, right?
Yeah. It was like very crazy because. That tournament was like the tournament of our lives.
Yeah,
Game One was like that, and being able to beat such a great team, it was amazing. So, I mean, I remember that day completely, and it was amazing for us.
What about in this time period? Like I say, no one really knew what will happen in CSGO. Will it even be? In fact, actually, I always tell people there's a famous article that was on like hltv.org where Zonic, actually from MTW, said something like, oh, you know, CSGO will never be as big as 1.6. And then everyone now brings that up and laughs at him like, oh, what an idiot. But I always tell people, no, that wasn't even a controversial opinion back then. Everyone back then was really worried that this game's going to be like a much smaller version of CS. And in fact, everyone was scared that like ESL doesn't care about it. Maybe Valve won't even give us any tournaments. So when the game switched to CSGO, were you always going to play it? Would you have just kept playing for fun as a hobby? Were you ever worried maybe the pro scene goes away?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was the one believing in that it could be different, because I remember Fox, when that happened, he stopped playing, and I had a conversation with him, and I said, Fox, if we are seeing guys like Get Right, Forest switching the game, I think that we need to follow that, because maybe this is going to be the one. And he thought about that, and after some time we started to have the tournaments, and of course we never knew that it would be such a big game, but what I looked at was, okay, the big players, they are switching, I think we need to do it, but you have a lot of players that they just they didn't enjoy the game, and they just said, okay, fuck it, I don't want to play this. But at least for me, it was like a new challenge. I was young, I wanted to play, so it was logic to switch, and I just went all into the game.
Do you remember roughly what was the time frame when you became in-game leader? Do you know what year it was, or roughly what time it was?
Let me think a little bit. I think it was like. At the beginning of Kick, I was not the IGL on CSGO. So I think it was like 2015, 16, something like that. So, yeah, it was that time. But like I said, it was an IGL that I was just doing my thing. But on Giants, I think it was the big change for me.
Okay. And then, as you say, at one point in time, apparently it makes sense for financial reasons. Obviously, Spanish esports wasn't huge, but it was a bit better than Portuguese. That's why you went over and played, for example, in Giants in the Spanish team. That's why you did like a switch?
Yeah. For example, at Kick, I don't remember how much I was receiving. I think it was like 300 euros or something like that. And when you went to Giants, it was like the minimum wage that you get on Spain. It was like 1,000 euro. So for me it was like, okay, I prefer to play with the Portuguese, and I think they are better, but I need to switch, because if I go there, maybe I can bring some Portuguese players, and that's what I did.
Okay.
So what I did was like, okay, I went there. I had a conversation with them, and I said, okay, Roman, it's really good. He's my close friend. He's always with me. And after that, they really enjoyed playing with him. So it was like for us Portuguese, it was really important because that type of organizations we didn't have, and I think that after that everyone became more professional, and we had the conditions to at least to fight for something, because in Portugal it was impossible.
If you get 1,000 a month, can you actually live off that? Like, is that enough to pay for rent and all the other things as well?
I mean, right now it's really hard, but at that time it was amazing. I mean, I was receiving more money than my mother.
Oh wow!
So,
right.
Yeah. So it was kind of after that time, my parents just said, okay, this is more serious.
Sure.
Just do your thing, and if this is what you want, just do it, and that's okay. And they always supported me.
Right, obviously, as you say, the guy you took with you was Roman. Like, if people don't know, he is now 33 years old, so we understand now he's not going to be a top player. But back then, he was one of the better Portuguese players, right?
Yeah, for sure. He was. I mean, I think that the three main players of Portugal, it was me, Roman, and Fox. Of course, Fox, he was just different, and then I think that Roman was really, really good. I think in terms of aim, in terms of he was very smart. So he was the type of player, and he still was now, but he left. But he was the type of player that he was looking at things for the team. He was always supporting everyone. He was a hard worker, and so for me it was amazing to play with him for so many years. So that's it. I mean, it was amazing.
What about, I saw in the Giants team you also played with, in the same way as I said, Fox was the one player from Portugal everyone knew. Obviously, the Spanish player everyone knew was Mousambani. It was a similar story.
Yeah.
Back in early 1.6, he was an AWPer. Same story, he's just the star player. And back then, everyone used to always say, I mean, the joke the kids would say now is like, you say like, free Mousambani. You'd say that, wouldn't you? Because it feels like they're in a prison and they can't get out and you want them to go to the bed. But back then, you have to play. I know in CSGO, though, he was obviously much older than this. He must have had like 10 plus years of his career. What was he doing at this point in his career? Was he like more of a captain figure? What was it like to play with him?
To be honest, when I went to Giants, he was the captain of Giants. So it was him calling me. So we had a conversation.
Okay.
And he was the IGL there. So, I mean, but it's already in a point of his career that I don't know. He was already IGL. He was playing with top, but maybe he didn't have the firepower to destroy everyone like before. But yeah, I mean, it was a great experience. At least for me, I came from back then, and I always knew that Mousambani was insane. And for me, it was insane. It was really good to play with him because all the stories that you heard, you kind of play with him, you already knew that he was great. But yeah, I mean, it was just a little time, and after that, I think I went to Kinguin, so it was just like 3 or 4 months, so it was just a little time.
Yeah, as you say, you then did this bizarre move where you went over to the Kinguin roster. Like, what's crazy about this is you guys are just going around to like other cultures, other countries. Or what was the premise of how you got into this team?
I don't know. It was crazy. I mean, I was playing with the Spanish players, and Fox just left his team. I don't really remember which one. And basically, he wanted a good guy with him, and he just said, "Okay, I'm gonna talk with Kinguin, and you come with me." But I don't know. Thinking right now, it's just a weird move because I think that that team with Sparrow.
It was a Polish team, if people don't know. It wasn't like Spanish. It was Polish players, right?
What I understood from that time is that they didn't want to change, and we just landed there. So since the beginning, that team have everything to went bad, you know. So they didn't want to switch. We came there, and after 2 or 3 weeks, it's when Mishu receives the offer from VP. So that team, in 2 weeks, she was already destroyed. So I think it was more in terms of going to a big club, or you have more salary or something. But for me, it was maybe the biggest mistake of my life, because it didn't make sense.
I also get the vibe as well. Look, how would that culturally even work? I mean, I feel like Polish players and Spanish players, look, they're all very passionate players, but in different ways, maybe. I mean, people know Polish players are just saying Kurva 1 million fucking times a match. So people are going crazy. Was it a weird mix of players? Sounds like an unusual. Are you all speaking English in this team, by the way?
Yeah, I mean, and our English was right. So bad that now thinking it's so weird, because we couldn't to have a conversation was very awkward. I don't know. I think we had all the ingredients to go bad. That's what happened. Yeah, it was a crazy move.
I saw as well at one point in your career, it wasn't for that long, but at one point that player from the Brazilian scene, Horvy, who people don't remember, at one point in time was supposed to be like a super rising talent. He just had like a tragic career. I saw he played with Kick at one point in time.
Yeah, it was, well, the story, it's kind of funny, because I think that his family went away from Brazil because of when they came to Portugal to have better conditions. And he just messaged and said, "Oh, I'm a Brazilian guy. I want to play." And at that time, we didn't have a lot of players, so he came to play some pracs, and everything went really well. And I just said, "Okay, let's do it." He just played with us, and after some time, Immortals was already calling him to go to that 6-man roster, and I was, what happened here? But yeah, I don't know. We played. He was so unexperienced, but he was a good guy. But yeah, I don't know. I think that I don't know why they kind of signed him, but I think they saw the potential. But he needed a lot of time, I think, or still needed a lot of time.
Sure. Right, one of the questions I have for you goes like this. If anyone goes and looks back, actually a lot of your career in CSGO was quite similar to how the scene was for you guys in 1.6. Like, you have mainly regional tournaments, or you play online, and then you have the odd, in this case it was mainly ESWC was one where you could get and attend because you can qualify into it. Was it ever frustrating in CSGO that it's not like how it is now, where now in actually online play can get people spots into lands, and if you get into the lands, you can like get a couple more placings, then you get the invite to the next one. In fact, a lot of people might not know, in the modern day, I actually always tell people it's a bit silly we still call them invites, because actually it's just based on the VRS ranking, like no one's deciding. But the problem back in the day was it really was an invitation. Like if ESL, my joke always used to be, even when that Virtus Pro Polish lineup got really bad, bro, they were going to get that team into every tournament no matter what, because they're just huge. You get all the fans. So I feel like back then it's actually really hard to break into the LAN circuit and to get to IEM Cologne. We didn't have planes and things back then. Was it tough all those years kind of trying to get in?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, for us, I think it was impossible, but because all the qualifications was online, and I remember some tournaments that we were playing against Germans in Germany, so German server.
Right.
So it was like we had 50 or 60, and they had 5 ping. So
right.
I mean, at this level, you need to be insane on that day to win those type of games. So I think it was always bad for us, and the few opportunities that we had was like the qualifications in Portugal that we had, and you go to the big tournaments. That was like our hope to reach the top. But I think that now you have much more opportunities. You can be in a online tournament, you win some points, but I mean, it's a mixed feelings because who is already on the big tournaments, they have a big advantage. So you can do a bad tournament and you have a tournament next week that you can climb there or stay there. But I don't know. I mean, a lot of people ask me how I would fix that, but I don't really know. It's impossible, I think.
No, I think so. Yeah.
It's very hard. I think that you just need to play a lot and be very good. And when you reach that moment, you need to keep climbing constantly. So that's what, for example, that's our example. It's we need to go to the tournaments and we need to do like a Cinderella run, and let's hope that we keep doing it.
Just like in 1.6 when we talked about a game, Gunnar, you had the upset over mouz. What before, obviously, people know from last year from Cologne onwards because you guys were on the fucking playoffs, etc. But before that, what are some good upsets you've had over the years? Are there like ones where on LAN you got a good team or you won a qualifier or something? What would be the best ones, do you think?
I think that the best ones that we had, it was like we did a mix with Spanish players and we went to RMR. It was like the RMR qualifier. So it was the closest to the major that we went. And after that, it was only on SAW, to be honest. On SAW, I think it was when we had the click and I had the players that they were willing to sacrifice everything to be better. But yeah, like you said, the upsets that we had, it was something like that. It was only on Game Goons. Maybe we had a DreamHack Valencia or something. We did like third place. We didn't have too much good tournaments, to be honest. So I think that we had the potential. If I look back in terms of skill, we had the potential. But like I said at the beginning, our knowledge about CS was really, really bad.
What about one tournament I do remember actually is you almost fucked up for a bunch of people the BLAST Madrid one, the one that if people remember in the end is because the key story is in the end it was won by ENCE over Astralis and they broke that like nuke streak and all that stuff. But what people will forget is in that tournament you guys almost beat the Cloud9 like international roster. They had that weird one with all the Rush and all the different players. You almost beat them. You did beat NIP. You actually smashed them. And then in the last game against ENCE, and if they hadn't have won this, I don't think they would have been in the final. I don't think they would have had a chance to win this tournament. They only beat you guys 16-14 all overpass. It was a super close game. This is a pretty hyped tournament because it was the one, if people remember, you guys had to do a play-in just to get into the tournament as like the guest team, right?
Yeah. That was kind of crazy because on that day, we played against Movistar. So they were playing at home. And it was like a lot of fans from Portugal. They went to Spain, and we beat them at their home. And after that game, it was like an intense BO3. We needed to play like 2 BO1s. So for us, of course, you are already warm, and sometimes it's good. But I think that after that game, people just thought, okay, our job is done. Somehow it's done. So I think that we on that tournament, what the basically what we thought was we can be close to the best teams. But yeah, for sure it was a great tournament for us. I remember playing against NIP. I think it was one of my best games. I did like 37.
Okay.
Yeah, for an IGL, and I was like, okay, this is the best day of my life because I always liked Forest.
Sure.
Forest was like the main role for me since 1.6, and being able to beat those guys was like, okay, this is amazing, and that's when you realize, okay, that's really what I want, and I think that those experience, that's what you get, and since that those wins, you kind of want more. It's like an addictive thing.
Okay. I mean, in that game that you won, it was on Nuke. Has Nuke always just been your favourite map or something? Is it your comfort map to call on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that map, of course, I love the map, and I think it's one of the maps that when you watch other teams playing, it's funny to watch, and you have so many. You can work in so many ways on that map that I'm really enjoying it. So yeah, I mean, I only have great memories with Nuke.
Because the only thing is, like, I understand it's your favourite map and you've got to go with your strength. But when I see in this tournament, if people don't know, in that round robin with the best of ones, the teams obviously agree on the map. They do like a veto.
Yeah.
You guys agreed to play Astralis on Nuke, though. That was like when no one could beat Astralis on Nuke. That was when they had the streaker. It was like 20 odd games in a row. You still wanted to play them anyway.
I mean, in our heads, we just thought, okay, we're gonna be the first team beating Astralis.
Okay, they're pretty good though, right? They're pretty fucking good.
Yeah. But what happened is that it was ENCE breaking their streak.
Yes.
So, I mean, it was our comfort zone, and what we thought was, okay, if we're gonna play against such a great team, let's play in a map that we are very comfortable.
Sure.
Because the odds to win that match, they are very low. So we just went to a comfort zone and let's hope for the best.
Yeah. Well, as someone who liked that map then, because obviously I think that's a map where you either love it or you hate it. It's one of those ones that has that quality to it. What was Astralis so good at on Nuke? Why were they the best on that map? Why do you think they were so dominant?
Oh, I mean, I think for the meta right now, it's very different. But I think that it was about everything. I think the Astralis was good in everything. The way they're gonna make you think that you go secret and they are waiting. They were always good on executes. I don't know, the mix of everything. I think it was their difference maker, and of course they had the most skilled players at that time. I think so. I mean, they had everything to be good. So I don't really remember the way they played, but they were amazing.
Right. Obviously, you've been, as we talked about, in most of the big teams from your region. You were in Kick, you were in Giants, even though Giants at one point was a Spanish team, eventually even became all Portuguese. And then more recently, SAW is the other big name. But I don't remember SAW from that many years back. So was the time that you guys were in it, was that when it became a big team?
No, it was like... the story was like we were at Giants with Fox. And what happened is that the evolution that we were not improving, and it came to a point that the situation was, or Giants stays with Fox or we build a team there. And what happened is that they decided to stay with Fox, and we kind of build SAW. It was just the players, so we were not receiving anything.
Oh wow, right.
Yeah, and after that, what happened is that the guy that helped us, he kind of bought SAW, and he is the CEO, and we are still here. So what we did was build an organization. We were doing our job inside of the server, and he was basically trying to find sponsors and stuff like that. And yeah, I mean, it's looking back, it's great because it have been 6 years of SAW, and we became from nothing to what we are now.
So in that case, it's not just like being in just another organisation. There's like a special connection here. I mean, I'll give you an example, MUTiRiS.
Yeah.
One thing people might think now, I even thought it myself, was, wait a minute, as you saw with the horvy guy, if you speak Portuguese, technically you could work with Brazilians. You could be in one of their teams one day. They haven't got a lot of IGLs there, but in theory, you're just going to be in SAW for as long as you can.
If what can you repeat the last part?
But the idea is that it's not just any team. Like, there's a special reason to stay in SAW, right? It's a place it's your home essentially.
Yeah, for sure.
Right.
I mean, here, when you have an organization that trusts you so much, and you can do almost, it's not everything that you want, but they trust you in a way that I think we need to change this. I think we should do this, and building a mentality. It's way easier when you have that control. So yeah, like you said, it's a special connection. It's like you are just breathing your CS to make this organization work. And of course, for me, it's very special. But of course, I never had like an offer from Brazil, because I don't think people, in a way, they respect the Portuguese guys. I think we are putting our names now, but I don't think they kind of give credit for what we
Right.
are doing. That's my opinion.
Okay. Also, as the story came along, I also do remember, there's actually one game I do remember even, which is in the end of CSGO, when we had that PGL Antwerp major, you guys actually almost got into that over the Outsiders team. If anyone, the team that later on was obviously like Virtus Pro and won the later major that year, like there was a game you played against them where, if anyone knows, famously everyone says about game time. Like, this was the ultimate game time game. This game's never ended. It was every fucking round. It was overtime the last match. That must be a heartbreak. You were this close to getting in the major, right?
Oh my god. I think everyone had nightmares with that game, because it was so many close details. And I think that, that team, Outsiders or VP, they were just better than us. But at that moment, I think they were a bit destroyed inside, and they were not so good. So I think it was our opportunity to win against them. It needed to be that time. But everyone speaks about that clutch, the start of the clutch that he just shot in the leg. But yeah, we were so close, and that game, it's going to remain in our heads for forever, I think. But yeah, we were so close. But I think that that moment gave us like the strength to be here and to fight and to accomplish our goals.
Because at the time you haven't been in a major at this point in time, right? That must have been it would have been a big deal to get there.
Yeah, for sure. We never went to the major at that time. We were fighting so much, and when we created SAW, when we reached the top 30, people were crazy. So we need to look at the history of Portugal, and we never had such a good teams. And that was the moment when people really believed that we could do it, and failed that major for a little details was really painful for us. But yeah, PS is like that. Sometimes you win by close details, and sometimes you're gonna lose. But yeah, it's something that is going to stick with us forever.
Because I actually thought the tournament, when I was going through all the history that shows this year, like you guys were this close to actually being like a real team at the real events, was that Elisa Invitational tournament that you had, where in this one it had like Eternal Fire and Tyloo and Game Elite. These are all like teams that are like right at the top of like the tier 2 area and themselves could go. You guys won this tournament, so this is like a pretty good showing, right?
What do you mean, this year?
No, in 2022, there was that Elisa tournament you won online where you beat all these like real
Elisa.
teams.
Yeah. Yeah, we were playing really good, to be honest. But I think that what happened to us is that we wanted to be more consistent, and somehow our players were kind of okay. I'm already good at this level, so that's the good thing about trusting so much in what we do. And we just focus in finding some people to reach the next level. And but yeah, it was, I think we were playing good, but I think we had the potential to be better, to be honest.
By the way, when you say like you took over as the in-game leader, but you played with past ones, were you one of the first actual like Portuguese in-game leaders to try and be more tactical, to try and have more structure? I mean, as you say, it's a stereotype, but it's a famous thing actually people do say about both Spanish and Portuguese. It was more people just playing loose and, you know, the Oppas doing whatever they want and people rushing a bit. Are we trying to be a bit more structured?
I think that the only one that we had two good IGLs. But I think that the best was Koshi, the Brazilian one, and AIM, that was our coach. But he was not. I think that in terms of strats, he was really good, but somehow playing he was not so good. If he watched this, he is going to laugh because I think it was good for a certain level, but to shoot that way, I think it was not good. So, I mean, I was not different. At the beginning, I was a bit loose and I liked to play default. And I think that with time, you kind of want to have more control, I would say. And I think that's the big change. But I think that I learned a lot especially with Koshi and Dame. I think those were the ones that I learned the most.
Are you someone, at least in this time period you're discussing, are you someone who likes to give people more space or give like the star play? Do they get kind of like the choice to do what they want to do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. But one thing that I really like to do is when someone wants to do something, I like to build that play in our strat book or something, and let's build something with this. Because, I mean, what happened to me, and that came with the experience, is that when people are pretty confident, they do everything. But when you go to a tournament, you get destroyed. People lose confidence. They stop doing everything that they were doing at Prague. So we needed a bit of structure, but of course, people have the freedom to say, okay, I think this is good. We should do this, and I mean, I really trust people on that way.
What about obviously? Eventually, you guys did. I know. I forgot one result. There was one upset I need to ask you about. There was a pro league at the end of CSGO where you guys actually beat the fallen Imperial lineup. The like last dance. I know it was changed at this point in time, but you actually beat this team in the best of 3 on LAN. That's a pretty good result.
Yeah, it is. I think that lately and at the end of CSGO, to be completely honest, I think if we keep playing, or if they didn't change the game, I think we would be a top 15 team. Okay. Because we were already beating, and it was kind of easy to play against some teams. And to be honest, when we changed to CS2, our team suffered a lot because everyone became bad in a way, so I think CS2 was bad for us, and now we are kind of establishing and we are okay. But yeah, against Imperial, I don't know. It was a crazy game, and they lost a round. They could close the series there, and they lost a round like a 2 versus 4 or 2 versus 5. And but yeah, I mean, for us it was amazing. Like for me, winning against guys like Fallen and stuff like that, it needs to be. Basically, it's not every day that you win against those guys, and for us at that time, it was great.
What about? Are you someone where if you get a result like that, do you actually just like? Do you think you should not make a big deal out of it? Do you think, like you said about the result where you guys were celebrating winning in the BO1 at BLAST or whatever, do you think you should celebrate and go crazy? How do you handle it as a captain?
I mean, we don't need to go crazy, but we should be happy because, I mean, it's not because we play on Prax against all those teams and you beat them. Sometimes you lose, but you beat most of them. So we know it's possible, but there is a big difference between winning a prac or winning in a tournament. So when we get those results, of course, the mood on the team it's always better. Everyone it's smiling, but we are at the middle of the tournaments and we don't think too much. We are just okay. We have a game tomorrow. Let's not be so happy. We need to focus on the next one. So I mean, sometimes we don't really enjoy some wins because we in the tournaments you just need to think in the next game.
When you said that like CS2 wasn't so good early on, obviously now it's been really good like the last year or so, the last year and a half for your team. Is there something you guys had to adapt to? What's different about CS2 and CSGO?
I don't know. I think that the big change, I think it was more for the oppers. I think that CSGO was an op abused game. They were just destroying. And I think that most of the oppers, they suffered a little bit at the beginning. And now I think that, I mean, if I look back, what really changed is the way we are working. I think that back in the days, we were just, for example, we come to the PC and we are just playing pracs. We didn't have any tactical. We don't talk about anything. So I think that we found the kind of the balance to be more structured and people individually is getting better. I think. So, I mean, it depends on the teams that we had on saw, but I think that's the main difference.
When you guys actually got through an RMR for the first time, so it was actually the Copenhagen major, it was the first CS2 major, you guys got through it. And actually, if people go back, this is actually more impressive than I remember. I remember the wins, but I didn't remember, bro, you actually not only beat Fnatic and NIP, you smashed these two teams. It was really massive victory, 2-0, really easy, right?
Yeah, I mean, we started very bad that tournament. We went 0-2. And after that, I think we got Enterprise. It was a good game for us to win a bit of confidence. And after that, I think that, I mean, NIP, they were not playing good at that time. And Fnatic was the real challenge for us. But I think that our team at that moment, we just needed that little click. And in our heads, we would be better than all those guys. So, I mean, it's impressive when you are watching from the outside, but from the inside, we knew that we were dangerous, basically. So, for us, it was amazing. It was a relief because all the RMRs we had in the first RMR, we did 2-3. It was the outsiders one, and after that, we did like 2 or 3 RMRs going 0-3. So mentally, we were going to those tournaments and we were just okay. We lost 1-2 games, 0-3 again. It's impossible. But yeah, I mean, it was like we had that click on that tournament, and it was. I mean, we did history there.
Are you someone where, like, do you believe in setting goals or having like a dream in the game? Like, is it a dream to be in majors? What do you set as your targets when you played for so long?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, at that time, major was. I wanted to put my name on the game, so it was. I've been working for so many years that that was a goal for sure. And if I have to say a goal right now, it's not a dream, but that's what I'm fighting for. I want to be at every tier 1 tournaments, because when you reach that level, when you are, I mean, I love the every day there. You go to the hotel, you have your practice room, you are preparing the games, so it's kind of addictive. That life, it's addictive because every day you have competition, and yeah, I mean, that's my dream, I would say.
I've got a weird question, which is I obviously now want to ask about the IEM Cologne event. But before that, I have to set it up because I'll tell you something that's really weird. If you go back in time to 2022 or 2023, your team's actually winning online competitions. You're doing really, really well in Tier 2. The weird thing is, in the run-up to IEM Cologne last year, your team wasn't even good online. You were coming like 7th place in online competition. It actually seems like this wasn't that great a period before this event. Like, what was going on with the team?
I don't really know, but that's something that is happening with us and happened to us is that when we are very good online and at Prax, we go to LAN events and we just got destroyed.
Okay.
But when we are bad, I don't know if it's like when you go to the tournaments, you go with not so much confidence to win a game and people just feel unbeatable, I would say. So... yeah, I don't really know. I think in our heads it was like always, we have the potential and we knew when we were playing good on Prax we could destroy any team. But somehow we were doing so many mistakes that you get to a point that you don't even know what should you fix first. So that's the worst feeling that you can have. But yeah, when we went to IEM Cologne, it was, I don't know, we were looking like a different team for sure.
Because actually, at this tournament as well, it was hard work. Like in the plane, you guys beat, people don't know this, you beat MongolZ twice at this tournament. You beat them in the plane and then later in the real event. But you also had to beat Big, like, and these are all close games. Like, on paper, I'm sure the betting favourite was the other team each time. Was it hard to get through the plane?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, MongolZ, I don't want to say that we never expected to win, but we knew that it would be very difficult. So, I mean, beating those teams, and it was amazing for us. And it was MongolZ, Big. After that game, it was Big, and I think it was at that time it was a difficult game, but we were pretty confident because MongolZ, it's better than Big, right? So we were pretty confident that we could win against them. And when we reached the tournament, we were just, okay, our job is done. We went through the play-in and we just wanted to be at IEM Cologne. Yeah. So, but I think we kind of, with all the flow, with those wins, I think that we built kind of a confidence that helped us for the rest of the tournament.
I actually think that maybe even to this day, the best result of SAW still might be that victory over G2, the opening match of IEM Cologne, because this is the team that, if people remember, like, they were almost in the final of the previous major. Like, sure, this is when they just got Snacks in, but they still have Nico and MUTiRiS. Like, everyone knows, I would say they got the Malbs guy in, who everyone knew was super. Like, on paper, a fan who doesn't watch your team would say, you never win this game. This is going to be an easy game for G2. They should be one of the best teams in the world. What was this match like? Was it intimidating to play a team like that?
I mean, when you reach that tournament and you are already with some games in the bag, I think you don't get so nervous, for example. But when you go to a game without so many expectations, a team like that can be very dangerous. And that's what happened. Is that we go there, we came confident, and we were hitting our shots. Some calls, magic calls, everything. It was like everything is working out. So I don't know. Like I said, it's like when you look at that from the outside, it looks impressive and amazing. But from the inside, we had that feeling that, okay, we can beat these guys, and that's what happened. At the middle of the game, you are feeling that okay, we can kill them, we can destroy them. So yeah, I really remember that game, and it was I don't gonna say it was easy, but it was pretty comfortable.
Sure. And then, as I say, you obviously beat MongolZ again. Right? This is actually just before MongolZ became really good and like had like all the playoffs of all tournaments. And obviously this year, what they've done is amazing. I want to ask you a question. As an in-game leader, how would you describe how they play CS? Because I feel like they've got their own style.
Yeah. I mean, at that time, I think that we studied them really well. I think that all the team, the coach Barry, he did a great job. So when we beat them the first time, what we felt was they are not really good or impressive tactically. They are very good shooting. So we just needed to. You can't give them the opportunities to give the one-on-ones, the firepower. So we knew that they were very good on that. And we as a team, I think that we were more prepared, I think, at that moment. So looking back and looking at their performance now, yeah, it was a really good victory, and beating them twice, it was amazing.
Plus, the other thing I thought was quite cool about some of these upset wins is in some of these series, actually, you guys didn't get to play nuke. Everyone thinks it's just that you guys pick nuke all the time and then you wait. But what's funny is when you played that match, the one that technically doesn't matter, the one where it's you either go to the semi-final or the quarter-final because it's the seeding match. And obviously, you guys lost to NAVI, right? NAVI was at the time the number one team in the world. But everyone who knows back then, they had the most predictable veto ever. Like, they always banned the same exact thing every time, no matter what. They always do the fucking, because they did the vertigo ban, if people remember back then, and that meant basically you were guaranteed going to get the nuke pick. And the joke is, even though I wasn't a sore believer, I barely used to see you guys, but I think I even did a bet that you guys would win one map because, like, if you could pick nuke against Navi, it's actually winnable. They were a little bit weak on that map, right? This must have been a kind of an exciting prospect.
Yeah, I mean, we were pretty confident for that game too, but I don't know that. Those Navi, they were very dangerous. I mean, against the other teams, we felt, is it possible? But against Navi, it was like, okay, we won nuke, and I think that the other two maps we got destroyed because they were shooting really well, and I don't know, their play style, you kind of felt suffocated inside of the game. You didn't knew what they were doing. It was really hard to play against. And I didn't felt that way against other teams. I mean, at the play-in, I didn't felt that, but we.
Do you feel like the anti-strategy well studied you or something?
No, I think that against them it was really hard to anti-strat. I think that they came to play against us, and what I feel like against some teams, and I felt against Navi and Vitality, is that those are the teams that it's really hard to upset. They don't care, and they just destroy you individually sometimes. So for us, or at that tournament, it was for sure both of teams they were just in another level, and it was really hard to beat them, for sure.
If it's cool to make it through an RMR and go to a major or to get onto this to Blast and even have a chance to it, it must be insane to qualify to the stage of Cologne. Because I always tell people, I feel like in the modern day, the real reason why we all do consider, kind of ITSE and Cologne bigger events is it almost feels like to make the playoffs and to get into the arena is like a prize in itself. It's kind of something to aspire to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was never thinking so much about going to a stage, but when we reach that and you put your feet there, it's just I mean, I'm gonna say it this way, that was the best day of my life for sure. I mean, when you are backstage, when you are warming up and people are going to the stage, it's just a feeling that I can't describe because I couldn't stop smiling when I was there. So,
right.
So I don't know. It was like a kid in the park, and what I thought at that moment, it was like, okay, for so many years I never experienced something similar, and coming here and have this opportunity, it's like a gift for everything that we went through. So yeah, I mean, people say that it's the best stage, it's the best tournament, and I totally agree with them because it was amazing to be there, and it was just different from every situation that I went in every tournament It was just different.
On paper, though, even though at this time people will know this is when FaZe had more of the bad results and they started to go down a little bit, right? On paper, you know how people do the narratives about teams, like the storyline. The storyline's as bad as possible because the storyline's going, it's Saw, who've never been on a big stage before. It's not just any big stage, it's Cologne. It's like one of the biggest ones, you know, with the Lanxess and everyone knows all the cameras. Meanwhile, at the time, FaZe has that reputation of like, that's where they're the best. If you put them on the stage, they never lose. They always win all the big clutch. In fact, people would say this is the best matchup they could get because you guys are going to be all nervous and they're going to, like, you know, pull out all the big. I feel like it went the opposite of the match, though. Actually, in the match, they were the ones who seemed like they were fucking up, and you guys were making all the hero players, right? What happened in this sense? Were you worried when you saw it was FaZe you drew?
Oh my god! I mean, I was not worried because for us it was already our job was done at that moment. So for us, we didn't care at that moment. And I think that helped us a lot because we felt that people just wanted to enjoy that moment. And it was not going there and, okay, we're going to lose. It was, guys, we did an amazing job until now. Let's go and let's do our job, and I think we can beat them. So going there, I think that it was a bit... I think we did 3 maps, right? It was a... Yeah, and we lost Anubis. And we lost Anubis because... I failed a smoke, and we lost the round because of it. Because it could be a 2-0. So, I mean, FaZe were for sure the favorites there. But the way our team was playing at that moment, we were a dangerous team, and with a map pool that it can be very tricky. So I think that's one of the best results that we had. And in a stage like that, FaZe with all the good guys, I mean, they still have Robs and stuff like that. So it was amazing.
And obviously on this third map, Nuke, you got to have your own, like, you must have felt like you were living in a dream that when you did that ridiculous 1v4 clutch or whatever it was. Like, that's a pretty good round even for a star player. What the fuck happened in this round? Give me some thoughts.
I mean, I don't know. I just remember that when I was celebrating the round, I did like 3 or 4 different things. I was screaming, "I'm here!" So... yeah, I don't know. It's the type of things that it happened. It needs to happen, and for me, it was like I said before, it was the best day of my life for so many reasons. And that round, it's going to stick with me, and who watched that game is going to remember that round for sure for a long time. But yeah, on that round we go first. I went to so many emotions that I can't describe it. And we didn't even pause it. I was celebrating, and Roman just said, "Let's do this inside," like a tactic that we went. And it was just, I was celebrating. I go to the mouse again, and I was kind of shaking. I was still shaking, and we went to the round straight away. So, I mean, it's like it's a Cinderella story. Everything went good on that stage.
In the next match, I don't really blame you for what happened there. Like, people know that Vitality was pretty fucking good at this tournament, right?
Impossible. I mean, like I was saying before, you are playing, but you feel at the middle of the game, you just feel out to play so many times that your confidence it's going away very quick, because you just say, okay, I'm gonna play here, and they flash, they kill you easy, and you just thought, okay, these guys are insane. And I think that they just reached a moment of flow at that stage that I think we didn't have the experience, the individual level to win against those guys. I mean, for us, it was already job done, for sure. But they were impossible on that day. I think if we played 100 times, we will not win one time. It was not possible.
Since in theory that's peak Zemu you're playing against, that's like he's one of the best players ever. How does he compare? Because you're actually an old school guy. How does he compare to the old 1.6 best players, etc.? Like, are there similarities? Do you see Zemu?
Oh my god! I think that is just different. I think that what he can do with top, with AK, but it's not only that. It's that if you watch a POV from him, he never gets surprised with anything. He's expecting every moves. So I think that's the main difference, because he's just different. Is that he's just playing his game. He doesn't throw the smoke, the special smoke or something special. He just do everything simple, everything perfect, and when he is on that in that moment, if he's playing really good, I think that Vitality it's not playing with 5 players. They are playing with 6 or 7.
Sure. Now, you know you never catch me dolo online because I'm rolling deep and we dem boys. Who am I talking about? The Skrilluminati. So this video and the content on my channel is kindly supported by Matt Pugnaccio Racula, Toucan, Jensen Gore, Nikki, Jason, you know who my second in command is, Jerky's Minion. Do you want to suggest a topic or a guest for some of my content? Would you like to ask me a question in an AMA? Do you want to take part in one of those lengthy discussions where you get to set the topic? Maybe you want to see who upcoming guests are in my interviews and on my talk shows. Well, all of these perks and more are available to you if you put your money where your mouth is and join the Skrilluminati today. How? Via the Patreon link in the description box below. You dig?